This series was made possible by Liat, Honda South Africa, Off-Road Cycles, and Ink Monkey Vehicle Wraps.
We've just determined that Adrian lost his sense of caution in his old day. Now that he's getting older, he's lost the ability to identify danger and to be cautious.
That's why I'm sleeping in Pierre's room.
That is why we did all these bloody passes yesterday. Because he said, that's easy, just do it. So, and it wasn't.
Today I'm emotionally hurt.
Yeah.
After a few Jägermeister.
A little diluted, yeah, slightly diluted. Today is the last day of the recce, of the exploration. Tomorrow we head home, hopefully we take Fanie with us. Can you imagine how cool that would be? But today, we just do the last recce of this challenge and see if it's doable and what passes are nice to take. It's up to us.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking backwards. I don't want to go forward. No funny business today. Just hard riding on public roads. It's chaos this morning. We're trying to figure it out because Fanie's not here, you know. And Fanie's always the fundi when it comes to the electronics. But this is it, and we're off. Next to our friend Henry, next to his sticker, one there. There we go. Lekker man.
Today is day 4 of our trip, but our third and final day searching for gravel passes along the Drakensberg escarpment between Lesotho and Eswatini. Our muddy bikes bear witness to the 2 days hard riding we've done thus far. After filling our camelbacks and choosing the right playlist music in our Cardo headsets, we ease out of town towards the wide open spaces of the countryside. But first, a quick look at a typical Free State church building at the end of Memel's main street. This part of the country paid a huge price during the Anglo-Boer War of 1899 to 1902, and most church grounds have an old memorial dedicated to fallen local Boer commandos. Our plan for this, our last day of the 3-day challenge, is to tick off as many named and mapped gravel passes as possible, adding them to the list of the previous 2 days. Every new day brings a new type of riding, as the landscape now changes to flat, open expanses, some sandy spots here and there, and more standing water on the fast-flowing roads. Judging by the flotsam on the fence lines, these parts had a very wet rainy season. We were flying through the crisp morning countryside, astonished by the views that Mother Nature was gifting us around every corner.
Waterfall Neck. Just a little bit of crest with a beautiful view. It's worth it. Right here, take the bigger gravel roads because the smaller ones have a hell of a lot of sand. But if you're fine with that, you know, why not? So there you go. Waterfall Neck, our first one for today. I think this is a keeper, Adrian. Huh?
And with that, we drop down the hill and enter the KwaZulu-Natal province for the first time today. The planned route for today will necessitate a lot of provincial boundary jumping between the Free State, Mpumalanga and KZN, where the road now tries to find shelter from the wind against the tree-lined side of Mayuba Mountain.
There was a big battle here in the Anglo-Boer War. The road surface is brilliant. It'll be easy to ride. It's got views. It's got lots of wind though. If you're scared of the wind, don't know why you'd be, but there's a lot of wind here. On a day like today, it's nogal howling.
At the top of the pass, we meet up with Jan again, sporadically connecting with us along the route, while still carrying Fanie's riderless bike. Ah, what a good guy. Now, a short tar road hop into the town of Volksrust for a quick splash and dash. And on our way out of town, we have our first encounter with fellow bikers on their Saturday morning ride. Well, not a very talkative bunch, but hey, to each his own. And all is forgiven as we find ourselves turning into Mpumalanga and the gravel highway's warm embrace.
Waterfall Neck. It's basically just a rise over the hill. But hey, if it's a pass, it's a pass.
It's a pass.
Called the Waterfall Neck Pass.
We never called it a pass. They called it a pass, so we just
Someone called
rode
it a
it.
pass, we're just taking the credit for it. The Waterfall Neck Pass. You already know that there's a turn. So it's not going to bother you that this chevron has a sticker on it, because all of the others are still clear. The Waterfall Neck, it's disappointing, but it's a pass. And for us, that will pass.
This far eastern part of South Africa reminds me of a combination between York County and the Scottish Highlands, with less mountains, of course, or the Welsh countryside, but without all the people around. I know, I probably just offended half of our UK viewership. I'm so sorry. It's not deliberate, but you have to admit, it does look like it. Every now and then.
view. The top of Waterfall Pass. I'd love to drone here. The wind is out. Blow off. That's Swatini. So there we go. Let's see what it looks like. But it's a beautiful view.
There's quite a lot of standing water on the road again, and in contrast to his ungentlemanly behavior the previous day, Adrian decides to spare me the puddles and carefully picks his way around the water splashes. Ah, that's very kind of him. I, on the other hand, still remember yesterday. Payback! Naturally, this results in some childlike racing for the next few kilometers.
What are you gonna do with all this freedom? What are you gonna do with all this freedom? These days are yours, your hands are free. Where you gonna go, who you gonna be? It's your time, it's your parade. What you gonna do, what you gonna say? There was a time you were in chains. Now just yourself remains. Look in my eyes, there's no need to explain. You'll never wear those chains again. What are you gonna do with all this freedom? What are you gonna do with all this freedom? Just the silence says so much. If you can't trust your heart, who can you trust? Take your time, there is no rush. The world is a lover waiting for your touch. These days are yours, your hands are free. Where you gonna go, who you gonna be? It's your time, it's your parade. What you gonna do, what you gonna say? What are you gonna do with all this freedom? What are you gonna do with all this freedom? All this freedom. All this freedom. All this freedom. All this freedom.
In a scaly quarry, a shale quarry. Look at those square stones. Looks like a Picasso painting. Look at that. It's all Picasso. What's that?
Braai.
Ons braai.
Braai.
Thank you, Ansel.
Ansel?
Ja, Ansel.
No, my wife didn't pack it. I packed it. Whatever.
Jan, you are star of the day. Superstar.
You know what? I'm a Leon high performance athlete. And that's why I drink in isotope.
Oh, I see.
We're not leaving a stone unturned. I missed this one. There we go. Falls, the top of Wakkerstroom Falls. What a beautiful, beautiful place. What a pretty place! Ride this pass, stop halfway, and braai a vorsie. You will thank me later. Trust me on this one.
For the last afternoon of our trip, we turn back into KwaZulu-Natal and ride a 170-kilometer circular route southeast of Wakkerstroom. In this stretch, we'll be attempting the last 5 passes of the trip, and it suddenly seems like the guys working in the scenery department has decided to turn the prettiness factor up to 11.
Yo! The riding this side of Wakkerstroom is spectacular. I cannot explain how beautiful it is. This is Waterfall Pass. It's locked now.
It's on adventures like this that you really have the opportunity to test your equipment and your machine. And for the first time, I was thinking about my recently fitted tires and newly installed suspension. This was my first test of the Metzeler Karoo 4 tires, and so far, I'm rather impressed. It isn't a full off-road, but not a true 50-50 either. It lies somewhere in between a hardcore and adventure tire. Good enough for both gravel and tarmac at speed, practical enough for rocky and sandy roads, but somewhat loose in mud or clay. But then again, what isn't? Before leaving on the trip, I also installed aftermarket suspension on my Africa Twin. Progressive Hyper Pro coils and thicker oil, front and rear. Back home, my pillion immediately gave it 2 thumbs up, as the factory suspension tended to bottom out when attacking hazards at speed, with the missus clinging on for dear life. Riding single up, properly set up and adjusted on these high-speed roads, with surprising hard hits and the occasional airtime, it feels like I'm surfing on a predictable cloud gliding over the rutted road surface.
Kemplust Pass. We are turning back towards Wakkerstroom. It's a bit of a loop. From here on in, it's back to Utrecht and then back to Wakkerstroom. But Kemplust Pass, I think it's an old mine down here, Kemplust mine. And looks like a nice little gnarly pass. It's on course. So yeah, there we go. Kemplust Pass. Whatever you do, weight your pegs on that side, go there, don't fall in here.
With the shadows getting longer, we speed through the scenery. We've been ploughing through dongas, jumping headlong into muddy pools, but now we're testing our braking skills at these iconic Mzansi roadblocks. Roasted full of rocks and dust, wobbled off balance by unexpected ruts, and almost sunk by deep sand. But the drive to finish this challenge, with the goal line now so tantalizingly close, starts pushing us a little harder, around the bends, over the brows, faster and faster.
Night's Pass. If all goes well, this is the third last one for our entire 3-day challenge. Well, it's a little bit emotional, but Night's Pass now goes into Utrecht, and then we pop out the other side with another pass. But Night's Pass, beautiful, scenic, down from the Highveld, rolling grassy hills, down into KwaZulu-Natal's Lowveld again. Night's Pass, at the top of Night's Pass.
Dis 'n ou oom.
That for a view down to Utrecht. Huh? Nice. Burgers Pass. Burgers Pass. Oddly enough, my great-great-great-grandfather was Burgers as well. President Burgers. Just remember, this pass isn't hectic, but it's narrow and it has steep drops. But it's not hectic. And now, only one. Me and Adrian, we are stuck in chalk, but we're pushing through. Huh?
We take the last turnoff, back towards Wakkerstroom, on a road with some roadworks and a lot of traffic for a Saturday afternoon. And for the first time, we pass a group of adventure riders heading in the opposite direction. And guess what? They're giving us a wave. Ah, these are my kind of people. And before we realize it, we're on the last pass of the day and of the trip.
Nothing's hoogte. Easy, just like a hoogte, just like a bit of a rise and you're up. Funny, that idea you and I and Adrian had one crazy Friday afternoon in a pub. Here we are. My last sticker as well. Works out perfectly. We did it!
Riding into the sunset towards our overnight accommodation, I try and take stock of what we've achieved during the last energy-sapping, emotionally draining 3 days. Accomplishing a single-minded goal with grit and endurance that only Adrian and I will ever fully appreciate. And at what cost? Fanie is lying in Bethlehem Hospital with a plate and 13 steel screws in his broken leg. But I guess that's the risk you take every time you swing your leg over your bike. We understand that, and we've made our peace with it. So did Fanie.
It's early morning near Wakkerstroom. We're about to head out on our last day going home, and this one is without Fanie now again. The whole trip was without Fanie, which was strange. Not that we don't get along, but it's strange not having Fanie here. But there's already been a shuttle dispatched from Gauteng to Bethlehem to come and fetch him, and we'll await his arrival in Gauteng once he's there this afternoon. And now it's just slogging home. Oddly enough, I don't have any need to do any adventure anymore. Not today. So I'd have a quick breakfast and the usual wimpy adventurous breakfast, and then we head home.
We hit the blacktop to go and see our fallen buddy, but before we head out of Wakkerstroom, we turn into the church grounds to go and look at a memorial for some other fallen comrades. And to my surprise, I spot my family name on one of the columns. A Breitenbach that fell in Wakkerstroom. It sort of puts things into perspective and makes me realize how fortunate I really am. Being able to do what I love. To have the freedom to follow your own track over the horizon. Tracks that left a lifelong impression on us during our 3 days in 3 provinces on the Drakensberg escarpment. 23 Drakensberg passes in 3 days. Done and dusty.
Fanie,
How's it?
Fanie bra! Fanie, you're safe!
Yeah, back from the trip, eh? It was a lekker trip, eh?
Was it slag wel?
I was in a couple of more trips than you.
You was an ambulance trip?
I was ambulance trip, I was on back of the cruiser trip, I was on medication trips, I was in lots of trips.
Now, tell me where it's broken twice, ne?
Yeah, both of the tibia and fibia off.
Off.
Plates on the one side
Yeah?
and screws, and on the other side they say it will heal by itself.
They say.
Skak maar so right.
Sharp.
6 weke.
6 weeks. Yeah, and you've got a boot.
So I showed the doctor how to open it with my left boot. I said to him, don't cut my boot. You open it like this, and then my pants you zip open here, you don't cut it.
Yeah.
And then the knee braces, you take them off like this.
You don't cut it.
You don't cut nothing.
Yeah.
And you make me sleep, and then you take it off.
And they took it off. They pulled it. Oyster, bro. Oyster, well done. It's nice to have you on.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you for joining us on this adventure. Please subscribe to stay informed about our next tour into the southern African wilderness. And keep an eye out for our short special where Fanie shares his route to recovery with us.